Hi, this is Joelle, and I'm the Viberarian. I'm here to elevate, enlighten, and empower. That's my daily experience, and I'm here to share with you all who are also having that experience on this ascension journey together. So I've been having a conversation from, it all ties together and moves from one thing to the next, but I said that I would be having a reading from the tree spirit. And if you followed my last couple videos, you've seen that I just came back from a journey into the higher heart experience that took us from Mount Shasta to the redwoods of California. And you can see video clips of the amazing trees and previous content on my channel, and I'll probably link to some of that in the description box below going forward. And several of the cards that have come out have carried images of tree symbolism. So I wanted to use specifically some tree oracle card decks that I have to see what specific guidance wants to be communicated. Now, the two decks, I actually took the first deck, the Tree Angel Oracle. I took this with me, and so everyone who was participating, we got to tap in to see what tree spirit specifically wanted to speak with us during the trip. And I'm also going to draw from this today. And then while I was gone in Mount Shasta on the trip, I don't remember which shop that I got it at, but I did get a new Oracle of the Trees deck. So I will read from this for the first time today as well, to see, again, what tree energy wants to communicate to us. Now, interestingly, earlier today I was doing my own personal reading, and I pulled from this Land and Sky Oracle deck. I'm just getting new to this deck. I'm still kind of bonding with it and seeing how the messages are, but when I opened it today, the card that came out was tree, and this card is all about the tree pose and balance and surrender. And there's an affirmation that I shared on my Instagram that's about inhaling and grounding down, and then exhaling and expanding. So I'll of course share a little bit more information about this, but it was like, yes, the trees have messages for us in this now moment. It's coming out in all the decks that I'm using. So I hope you'll stick around, because I am going to go ahead and share some cards. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back for the card reading for messages from the trees through the Oracle card divination. The two decks I'm using today are the Oracle of the Trees by Francesca, Romana, Valente, and the Tree Angel Oracle deck by Fred Hageneder. Now, as I mentioned earlier today, I pulled a card and I got the tree pose from the Land Sky Oracle. So this is about being in balance and surrendering. And of course, if you do yoga, you know the tree pose. All right, so we'll just have this little energy over here grounding in. All right, so we'll get started here. I'm going to do two cards from each of the decks. All right, now this will be my first time actually using the Oracle of the Trees, so I'll read that second. I have had this Tree Angel Oracle for quite some time now, and I love it. I first came across this deck at a local meetup group. One of the ladies there had brought decks. Everyone brought decks to share, and this was one of the decks that she brought, actually a first edition of this deck. This is a reprint. It was recently reissued, and I was very grateful because it was very hard to find up until the new edition came out. All right, so let's see what card and message guidance wants to come in from Tree Spirit. All right. All right, so we have here black poplar. It's interesting because it's like his arms are, the being's arms are just thrown wide open and just open to anything I love this. This is card number 16. So, wow, that is so amazing. It's like keep your head to the sky. All right, so let's see what the black poplar, I don't have any knowledge of what this particular card is already. So let's see what it says. With the black poplar, it is as if a fresh breeze is blowing through your life. You are able to act with speed and flexibility, both mentally and physically. This is not the time to hesitate, but to move your belongings, yourself, perhaps even others. Poplar belongs to the element of air and Mercury, the winged messenger of the gods. Spiritually, new impulses and perspectives are winging their way towards you. Take a deep breath, first out, then in, and enjoy your new sense of freedom as you fly towards new horizons. Embrace the new and especially watch out for messages from afar. Ride the gusts of wind and dance in the breeze while remaining firmly rooted like a tree. Drink lots of pure water and allow it to dissipate into the air just as it evaporates from the leaves of the poplar. The water will purify you. Play sports or take part in active yoga sessions that will enable you to perspire. You may also feel impelled to go outside in the wind and rain and shout or call into the storm from the depths of your soul. Words and song also belong to the mercurial realm of the poplar. Oh, I love that. Here we talk about do yoga, and we got the yoga with the affirmation mantra to breathe in and out. So I love this. Let's see here what the rest of it is. It says a tree that moves so much in the wind needs to have very strong roots. We can enjoy the freedom heralded by the appearance of poplar only if we are firmly grounded in our own authentic truth. Without poplar, we lack that deep trust and begin to fear change. Life becomes stale, stuck in the old ways, and mired in outdated views. All right, wow, be firmly grounded in our own authentic truth. I'm going to have to look up this card guidance because I know it said something about being grounded. Of course, like the roots of the tree. It says here, trees receive their nutrients from growing deep into the soil while reaching up for the sun. Wow, reaching up for the sun. Connect with your waist as you ground down and lift through your crown as you rise up. And it says here on the affirmation, inhale, I ground down. Exhale, I expand. Wow, so these two go together just so perfectly. That's from the Land Sky Oracle guidance for this particular card that came out earlier today. So I love how these are just tying in at this particular moment. So being grounded firmly in yourself and free then to, like, this is like take the leap. This is like the Fool card, taking the leap of faith, trust. This just says to me trust and joy and happiness. All right, let's see what was on the second card here. Larch tree, which is 17, which is the star. So the star energy has been coming up. The star in Tarot is about healing, and that's come up in some of the previous readings just very recently. And so I'm not familiar with the larches, but as you can see, she's smiling, and there is this beautiful star. It looks like there are beings in the back there dancing, maybe. I don't know, maybe that's us on the mountaintop when we were at Mount Shasta. So, but let's look here and see what larch is. Oh, excuse me, we got to come back to the poem for the black poplar. It says, the wind blows away the past. Messages come from afar. The circles you tread reach far beyond your knowing. And in your own life, you will find an echo of far-off deeds. Look beyond your horizons. All right, now on to Larch. Interesting that this is 16 and 17, and they were definitely from different parts of the deck. So we have a sequence here. All right, and the Larch is an extraordinary being. It combines great strength with magical grace and beauty. Larch brings light like a star fallen from heaven. Its gift to you is spiritual clarity, inspiration, and harmony with the laws of nature. Fairies, charming elfin beings that are well disposed towards humans and animals, were often glimpsed beneath the larch in the mountains, its natural habitat. Dressed from head to toe in silver and white, they would dance under the ancient trees and mountains, singing sweetly all the while. For whoever met them, it was an unforgettable experience. Larch tells you about unexpected help coming your way. Your newfound resonance develops your natural respect, and your kindness draws other beings and powers to assist you on your path. Your eyes will sparkle when you meet them. If we abuse the larch and continue to allow it to be felled for ski poles or herded together to grow in vast monocultures, disgrace and stupidity will follow. Ignorance and instability eventually lead to serious depressions and feelings of emptiness inside. The large oracle says, your star has risen and will not leave you. Luck and inspiration, power and perseverance. Be ready and open yourself to the rhythm of the seasons, the earth who holds you, and the light of the heavens. All right. Wow. That's beautiful. All right. I just am processing this as you are, I'm sure. When I was in Mount Shasta, one of the things that we experienced on the mountain when we were doing the vortex and portal activations was that we went to a beautiful little grove that was a fairy grove. It was just, the energy was so lighthearted in there, and you could just feel the playfulness. And so I'm just thinking of that now as it's saying that this were these beings, you know, who are here in this card. So very, very interesting. All right, so from the Oracle of the Trees, let's see what additional guidance then wants to layer on top of this. So far we've got 2 decks, and we're headed around the corner for the 3rd. I'm just delighted because oracle cards to me are a beautiful way. It's like reading the story and having a conversation, but you never know which voice is going to be speaking to you until you pick up the oracle deck. And then it's like specific messages can come through specific decks because of the imagery and energy that it's used in its creation. So, you know, it's a wonderful way to have nuanced conversations beyond like your clairaudience and clairvoyance and the discussion that you're having internally. So, all right, let's see what we have here. Shuffle for the Oracle of the Trees. The Maypole. Interesting. I remember being in, here, let me get this card ready. All right. Being in elementary school and having the maypole flag, and like we would all go around with ribbons and wrap the maypole. And it was generally towards the end of school year, of course. I don't know what all of the traditions around the maypole are, and I'm sure that there will be additional information to come through then the card guidance, but I know that 3 is also about community. And you can see here's a community of children or beings gathered around in town. And, community has come out as a recent theme, also with 33 in the last couple of days. So let's see here what we have from the maypole. Very interesting. And it says here, at the center of a city square bordered by many tiny houses, a festival is being held. There is music and a joyous atmosphere. Children and young people are dancing merrily on a high pole at the top of which are hung beautifully wrapped gifts. One boy is shimmying his way up the pole, trying to reach one of the prizes, a toy train that will soon be in his hands. The Botanical Information. Maypoles are made of various trees depending on where the spring festivals are celebrated. They are particularly common in England, Ireland, Austria, Germany, and Sweden. In Italy, in the regions where the feast of Calendigmaggio, the calends of May, is celebrated, the alder tree is most typically selected. It is part of the Betalucea family, and it is a small tree that usually grows no higher than 10 meters or 33 feet, with rare exceptions. Common in America, Europe, and Asia, it grows quite quickly. It is a hardy, has deciduous leaves, and produces small flowers that resemble tiny ears of corn, as well as woody fruit. Its roots transmit nitrogen into the soil, nitrification, which renders them particularly useful in reclaiming unhealthy land. Oh, that's cool. Reclaiming unhealthy land. Okay. The symbology of the maypole is a long shaft erected vertically with prizes, usually edible, hung at the tops. The pole is then covered in grease or some other slippery substance to make it more difficult to climb. Participants take turns attempting to reach the prizes at the top. The origins of the game appear to be quite ancient, perhaps going back to the Celtic tree cult festivals, which usually took place in spring, specifically around the 1st of May. There were ancient rites tied to fertility and the rebirth of nature in spring. Even in Germanic lands, they once celebrated various rites centered around the trees that were sacred to various gods, such as the oak for Thor. The ritual consisted of preparing loaves of bread to be hung on the tree as an offering, then performing sacrifices and dancing around the tree itself. Direct heirs of these ancient rites are the German Maibaum and the English maypole. The festival, which takes place on the 1st of May, corresponding to the Celtic festival of Beltane, is centered on these enormous poles that are erected, then decorated with ribbons and colored decorations. They serve as a centerpiece for great peasant dances and feasts, accompanied by tremendous quantities of food and beer. In some areas of Italy in particular, the Albero de Cuaja is associated with the May Day. Oh, I butchered that one. That's terrible. During the festival, some of the participants wearing traditional costumes go from door to door collecting donations that will then be hung from a large branch of an alder, a tree symbolizing the springtime rebirth, thus becoming the Albero della Cucagna. And this is a word that also means kitchen. It's very interesting. Oh my goodness. So this is a very interesting and in-depth guidebook. Now it says here, it's about effort rewarded, obstacles to overcome, hard-won victories, tests, and renovation. The maypole card predicts the arrival of a time filled with obligations, effort, possibly even sacrifices. The seeker should not, however, become discouraged, for at the end of this time of trials, through constancy and ability, they will reach their goals and enjoy the fruits of their labors in full knowledge that they deserve what they have achieved. In relation to work, this indicates that in the following months you will be put to a test. Things may be more difficult than usual, but in the end, you will accomplish what you set out to do and possibly more. There could be a promotion, a more important role, a transfer, or perhaps even the opportunity to start your own business. If this is about study, it encourages you to work particularly hard because this is a decisive moment that will lead directly to a result, a degree, a diploma, a scholarship, or maybe publication. And if you are in a relationship, stay the course. The desired person will soon express shared sentiment and interest, or will say that they want to move things to the next level. If you are looking at becoming pregnant, this can indicate the arrival of a long-desired child. In general, wherever the question, this is guiding us to give it our all in this very moment, to hold on and to not give in to temptation to walk away or back off, because we are just a step away from the finish line. If you can stay strong and focused through hard work and determination, you will achieve your aims. Oh, wow. Okay, so being trusting and open and diligent and putting in hard work so that the things that you plant in the spring will grow to the appropriate harvest. Very interesting. As you can see, this is quite a bit of information for each of these cards in this deck. So let's see what our final guidance is here. Oh my goodness, the Tree of the Dead. Look at this card. It's like the Grim Reaper, I guess. And then we have fall. So that's the opposite of spring. So it's like a balance of seasons in the spring and the fall, represented by these two cards. Very interesting, because the leaves have definitely turned, and there's a leaf in the hand of this angelic being here. So spring and fall, opposite times in terms of the experience. So let's see what we have here in card number 26. Against an empty sky stands a great tree with large oval leaves. Some of the leaves are still attached to the branches and some are waiting to fall, but all have illegible writing on them. I didn't notice that, so it was definitely illegible. A dry leaf falls from the tree straight into the skeletal hand of the angel of death. We see him in profile, seated at the foot of the tree, dressed in a shabby robe from which emerged his dark feathered wings. In his other hand, he holds his characteristic scythe. His face is completely hidden by his hood. At his feet is an hourglass with an almost no stand in the upper chamber, indicating that time is up. Next to the tree, some grass is growing, symbolizing that despite everything, life continues on its unstoppable cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. All right, symbolism here. In Islamic mythology, the Tree of the Dead is a great tree whose leaves are inscribed with the names of all men. The leaves that fall are gathered by Azrael, the angel of death, who calls the name of each man destined to die. Azrael does not know the date of death in advance. Only when God decides that the moment has come does a leaf fall from the tree that grows at the foot of his divine throne. It is then that Azrael reads the name written on the fallen leaf, and within 40 days separates the soul from the body of the person whose name was written. Azrael, or he whom God helps, is also called Israel, one of the four archangels in Islamic tradition, along with Gabriel, Michael, and Israfil, whose Judeo-Christian counterpart is Raphael. Of cosmic stature and strength, Azrael is described as an angel so large that if all the water of the seas and rivers of the world were poured onto his head, not a single drop would fall to earth. He is seated on either the fourth or the seventh heaven on a throne of light with one foot on the bridge that connects heaven and hell. According to some, Azrael has 70,000 feet and 4,000 wings, and his body is covered by tongues and eyes equal to the number of all living people. According to Islamic tradition, when Allah sent the 4 archangels to take 7 handfuls of earth to make man, Azrael was the only one able to perform the task, while the other 3 argued about how many handfuls each of them was supposed to take. No knowledge of this particular mythology at all. So I learned something new today. All right. And here it says the words are changes undergone, breaking with the past, necessary endings, new opportunities, and new beginnings. There is nothing to fear in the dark iconography of the Tree of the Dead card. The card simply alludes to the inevitability of certain important changes that will soon take place in your life. This card tells us that some things we have become accustomed to need to change in order to make room for others. This could mean the end of a job or relationship or transfer to another city or country. What is certain is that it is a matter of significant change, one that will have important consequences for the seeker. The card also indicates that these changes will likely not be by choice, but rather unexpected, even undesired by the seeker, who may be forced to accept it passively, even against their will. Although the early phases may feel traumatic, this new situation will be of great benefit in the life of the seeker. The card advises you to try to face the new situation as positively as possible, even if it means leaving certain things behind. As difficult as this may prove to be, you will discover that many of the things that you found difficult to leave were in fact stagnant and sterile and were dragging you along unproductively. With time, you will understand that you have gained much more than you have lost. Do not let the past be an obstacle to your future. All right, so let what is done be done and look to planting the seeds of the new spring, the new effort that you want, knowing that you're surrounded by energies that are here to assist you, so you can trust and allow yourself to just fling your arms wide open to this experience of love and light, knowing that you are grounded in love, grounded in Gaia, and grounded in your mighty I am presence. All right, for these oracle of the trees and the tree angels for this message today, to each of you, I wish you that you have as much abundance as you can possibly hold, and that you can fling your arms wide open and share all of that abundance with everyone in the world around you. The light in me absolutely honors the light in you. Namaste.